Let me just briefly illustrate our mandate for being involved in the work of distributing the Word of God through an Old Testament story in the Bible that you'll be familiar with. In 2 Kings chapter 6 and 7, we read about the situation when Samaria was besieged by Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria. There was, therefore, a great famine in Samaria. There was what we would call today hyperinflation. The costs of the very meanest and lowest items of food were astronomical, and we even read in the scriptures of the great travesty of cannibalism taking place. Well, in this time of famine, there were 4 lepers in the city gate. They could not dwell, of course, with the people in the city for fear of passing on their leprosy. They could not, in the past, they thought, have gone out to where the enemies were, and there they stayed in the gate. But there came a point where they were close to death, and they felt they had nothing to lose by going out of the city. Maybe by going out of the city gate, they could receive mercy from the Syrians, and they would risk their lives. They had nothing to lose. They would die soon of starvation. But you know that when they went out, expecting to see this Syrian army, they discovered an empty and abandoned camp. By divine intervention, the Syrians had fled and had left all behind. So these 4 lepers, well, they had a field day. They had perhaps what we would call today an all-you-can-eat buffet. There was all the food and drink that they would want. And after all that time, you can be sure that they filled their stomachs. The Bible tells us that they ate, they drank, they took of the silver which they found, they took of the gold, of the raiment, of the clothing. We could say that they looted it. They went away and they stashed it. They looted some more. They stashed some more. But then what happened? Conscience struck. We do not well. This day is a day of good tidings, and we hold our peace. If we tarry till the morning light, some mischief will come upon us. Now therefore come, that we may go and tell the king's household. They had come across a treasure trove, and they had so much. And they knew in their consciences that they did not well to hold on to this bounty for themselves while there were their fellow men in a state of dire famine. They must share what they had with those who had nothing. Well, let's think about that with Bible distribution. We are English speakers in this room. We have a good Bible, a faithful Bible in our language. We have good copies of it. We have many copies of it. We may have a reference Bible, a text Bible, a leather-bound Bible, a hardback Bible, a large one, a small one. We may have a superabundance, but we do not well if we content ourselves with what we have, while without are those who are in famine. And of course, we might think of those parts of the world where there has not been a history of the spread of the gospel, and perhaps there is not a Bible translation, and this is absolutely the highest priority, to provide a faithful edition of the scriptures in that language and a copy of the scriptures in that language. But also in countries which have had the gospel and which have had a Bible, but would there not be many homes in your neighbourhood and mine where there is no Bible and the children grow up knowing nothing of the Lord and his marvellous works? So we have an obligation, a moral, spiritual obligation. We have a bounty in the Word of God, and we have an obligation to share with those who are in famine, a duty towards Bible distribution, but of course also a privilege to be involved in Bible distribution. The Lord said, freely ye have received, freely give. And we can apply that to the work of the Trinitarian Bible Society, the work of distributing the Word of God. And we trust that you will join with us in that work. Thank you.